there, pet lovers. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the quirkiest corners of the pet world. Today, we're on a hilarious mission to uncover the top 10 funniest dog breeds that walk this earth. Have you ever wondered which dog breeds are natural-born comedians? Well, stick around because you're about to find out. Before we jump into the goofy antics of our furry friends, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell to stay updated on all our pet-tastic adventures. Get comfy, grab a snack, and maybe a bone for your pooch, and let's get ready to giggle as we dive into the world of the most amusing pups you'll ever meet. First up on our laugh-o-meter is the one and only pug. Ah, pugs, nature's little clowns with wrinkles and a face that could turn any frown upside down. Have you ever seen a dog that looks like it's perpetually on the verge of telling a hilarious joke? That's a pug for you. Now, why are pugs comedy gold? Well, it's not just their squishy faces and big soulful eyes that look like they're always up to something mischievous. It's their snorting, their snuffling, and their ability to fall asleep in the most ridiculously uncomfortable-looking positions imaginable. And let's not forget their talent for dressing up. Put a pug in a tiny hat or a superhero cape, and you've got yourself an instant viral sensation. I once saw a pug trying to run up a slide. Spoiler alert, it didn't go as planned, but boy did it try. Each attempt ended in a graceful slide back down, and it looked at me each time like, "Are you seeing this? Gravity's broken." Their perseverance? Inspiring. Their coordination? Well, that's another story. So if you ever feel down, just remember, somewhere out there, there's a pug probably running into a glass door or dramatically plopping down with a sigh that says, "I've seen things you people wouldn't believe, like the bottom of my food bowl, empty, tragic." Next on our comedy tour of the canine world is the French bulldog, or as I like to call them, the bat-eared burrito. If laughter had a mascot, Frenchies would be it, with their trademark ears that look like they picked up satellite channels from Mars and a snort that could soundtrack a cartoon. Why are French bulldogs so funny? Imagine a creature that sounds like a whoopee cushion serenading an accordion every time they breathe. That's a Frenchie for you. Their snorts, grunts, and occasional gas passings are their own kind of symphony. And trust me, you haven't lived until you've heard a Frenchie sing the song of their people at 3 a.m. Frenchies have a way of playing that makes even their missteps look like slapstick. Ever watched a Frenchie try to catch a ball? It's like watching a loaf of bread trying to perform acrobatics. Adorable, earnest, and often hilariously inept. Plus, they have this waddle that screams, "I'm on a mission. I just forgot where I'm going." And their personality? They're like that one friend who's effortlessly cool, but also a bit of a klutz. Just last week, my Frenchie tried to jump on the sofa, missed, and instead of being embarrassed, gave me a look that said, "I meant to do that." It's called floor yoga. It's very in right now. So grab your popcorn, folks, because watching a French bulldog is like being at a live comedy show where the comedian is also adorably squishy. Rolling in at number 3, we've got the gentle giant of the comedy world, the Great Dane. These towering titans might look like they belong in a medieval castle guarding royals, but in reality, they're more likely to be found sprawled across your couch, taking up more space than your last family reunion. Why are Great Danes comedy kings? Picture this, a dog the size of a small horse, with the heart of a lapdog. They have absolutely no clue how big they are. I've seen my Dane try to sit on a Chihuahua's lap. The look of bewildered dignity on the Chihuahua's face? Priceless. And oh, the zoomies. When a Great Dane gets the zoomies, it's like a freight train that suddenly decided it wants to be a ballet dancer. They gallop around with such graceless enthusiasm that you can't help but laugh, especially when they come to a screeching halt and look around as if they've just realized they're not built for speed or small living rooms. Their expressions are another thing. They can go from regal to goofy in 1 second flat. I swear my Dane has the most expressive face. One minute he's looking at you like a wise philosopher, and the next, he's got his tongue lolling out to the side, eyes crossed, looking like he just told the funniest joke he's ever heard. So, if you're ever feeling blue, just remember that somewhere, a Great Dane is probably knocking over a vase, a table, or a small car, all while wagging their tail with the joy of 1,000 clowns. Strutting in at number 4 on our list is the adorable and ever so sprightly Corgi. These low-riding legends are the perfect blend of mischief and charm, equipped with fluffy booties that have been known to break the internet. Why are Corgis the comedians of the dog world? Well, let's start with their design. Imagine a dog engineered by a committee. The front half got the memo about being a sturdy herding dog, and the back half thought it was auditioning for a role as a furry, wiggling worm. The result? A Corgi. Watching a Corgi run is like watching a loaf of bread on stubby legs trying to sprint. Their butts sway with such enthusiasm that you can't help but giggle. And when they get excited, those buns shake like they're powering a small city. It's not just a walk, it's a whole parade. And let's talk about their playstyle. Corgis have 2 modes. I'm a fierce, unstoppable herder, and oops, I rolled over. There's something hilariously earnest about how they throw themselves into games, considering their legs are only about as long as my socks. Plus, they're smart. Too smart. Ever seen a Corgi outsmart their human? It's like watching a heist movie, but the only thing being stolen are treats, and the getaway car is just them waddling furiously under your bed. So keep your spirits high and your snacks higher, because if you've got a Corgi, they're probably plotting their next adorable caper right now. And prancing into the number 5 spot on our Laugh-O-Meter is the Shih Tzu, also affectionately known as the little lion dog. But let's be real, the only thing lion-like about these pups is their fur, because underneath that luxurious mane, they're all goofy smiles and heart-melting gazes. Why is the Shih Tzu a comedy star? First off, their hair. It's not just hair, it's a full-blown hairstyle that demands respect, and sometimes a giggle. Ever seen a Shih Tzu after a windy walk? It's like they've just come out of a salon disaster. Hair everywhere. And yet they strut like they own the fashion disaster that they are. Their expressions are another thing. Shih Tzus can switch from nobly aloof to hilariously derpy in less than a second. One moment they're poised like a regal statue, the next they're sneezing in reverse, making sounds you'd expect from a squeaky toy, not a dog. And don't get me started on their playful antics. Shih Tzus may look like they belong on a plush pillow under a chandelier, but give them a toy and they turn into whirlwinds of joyous destruction. They hop, they pounce, and they often miss their targets, but their confidence, never shaken. Plus, they have this adorable way of looking at you, head tilted, as if they're trying to understand the deepest thoughts of your soul. Only to be distracted by something as simple as a butterfly, or, their own tail. So, if you ever need a laugh, just remember, somewhere out there, a Shih Tzu is probably sitting like a human or spinning in circles, chasing their elegance away. Sashaying into our list at number 6, let's give a grand round of applause for the Chow Chow, our personal fluffy lion lookalike who seems to take the whole dignified thing to a new hilarious level. Why are Chow Chows comedy gold? Picture this, a dog with a mane so majestic you'd think it escaped from a royal portrait, except it has the demeanor of a grumpy old man crossed with an oversized teddy bear. They have this solemn, judgy face that makes you feel they're constantly disappointed by your life choices, but in the most endearing way. These fluffy fellows have a strut that's all their own. Ever seen a Chow Chow walk? It's like they're perpetually on a runway, showing off their fluffy bottoms with each dignified step. And when they decide to sit, it's not just sitting, it's an event. They circle, they ponder, they fluff their fur, and finally settle down with the gravity of a king claiming his throne. And their personality? Imagine the most introverted person at a party, but it's a dog, and this dog has decided that maybe, just maybe, you are worthy of witnessing their glorious playtime, which, by the way, is both a rare and hilariously solemn occasion. When a Chow Chow plays, it's with the seriousness of a samurai. They might chase a ball, but it's with the stoic focus of a monk meditating on the meaning of fetch. But let's not forget their infamous chow attitude. These dogs are not here to please you. They're here to grace your presence, and maybe, if you're lucky, allow you to pet the magnificent poof that is their fur. So if you ever feel like you're taking life too seriously, just remember that somewhere out there, a Chow Chow is sitting like a regal statue, probably judging a squirrel for being too frivolous. Bouncing into the number 7 spot with the confidence of a circus acrobat is the Yorkshire Terrier. or as I like to call them, the mighty might. Don't let their pint size fool you. These little dynamos pack more personality and audacity into their tiny frames than dogs 5 times their size. Why are Yorkies comedic little gems? Well, first, consider their size, contrasted with their fearless attitude. A Yorkie is like that tiny friend who says they'll fight anyone in a bar, and you half believe them. Watching a Yorkie bark at a dog 10 times its size is like watching a featherweight boxer puffing up, and honestly, it's impossible not to chuckle. Their energy level? Off the charts. Yorkies don't walk. They prance, they dart, and sometimes they even seem to fly slightly above the ground, especially when excited. It's like they've got built-in springs at the bottoms of their paws. And when they're on a mission, step aside, because they have places to be and laps to sit on. And oh, the hairstyles. These little dogs often sport hairdos that some of us can only dream of achieving. From silky smooth locks that get daily combings to fancy top knots secured with tiny bows, a Yorkie's hair could rival that of any celebrity on the red carpet. They strut around with the flair of a Vogue model, and the attitude? Pure diva. But let's talk about playtime. A Yorkie at play is a spectacle of spins, jumps, and what I swear are tiny giggles. Throw a toy their way, and it becomes an epic saga of Yorkie versus the invincible squeaky toy. Spoiler alert, the Yorkie always wins. So if you ever need a little laughter or a reminder of what sheer confidence looks like, just watch a Yorkie trotting down the street, owning every inch of the sidewalk like it's their personal runway. Dashing into our number 8 spot is the ever-spunky Dalmatian, the original spotted sensation that could easily double as a moving piece of pop art. These pups are not just about fetching sticks, they fetch laughs too. What makes Dalmatians such comedic delights? It's all in the spots. They're the only dog breed that looks like it ran through a game of Twister, and the spots decided to stick around. And if you've ever watched a Dalmatian in action, you know they've got enough energy to power a small town. Their playfulness is legendary. Ever thrown a ball for a Dalmatian? It's like igniting a rocket. They zoom after it with such wild abandon that you half expect them to take off flying. And when they bring it back, they've got this proud trot, like, look at me, I saved the village from this dangerous spherical object. But it's not just their playfulness that gets giggles. It's their dramatic flair. Dalmatians don't just sit. They collapse dramatically as if starring in their own soap opera, often with a loud sigh that seems to say, oh, the burden of being so fabulous and spotty. And let's talk about their love for getting into mischief. A Dalmatian's motto seems to be, if there's trouble, I'm there. They're like the fun-loving friend who always has a wild idea, like, hey, let's see if we can jump over that garden hose, resulting in a spectacular, if not entirely graceful, display of spots in motion. So if your life is lacking a bit of unpredictable joy and a whole lot of spots, just remember, a Dalmatian might be the 4-legged comedian you never knew you needed. Zooming into our number 9 spot is the Border Collie, the Einstein of the canine world, known not just for their intelligence, but also for their hilarious overachievements. If there was a class clown at doggy school, it's definitely our Border Collie, top of the class but always up for a laugh. Why do Border Collies make us chuckle? Imagine having a dog that's smarter than you. That's a Border Collie. They're the type who, if they could talk, would politely correct your math, but it's their intense focus that often leads to comedic gold. Give them a task and they turn into furry little overachievers. Fetch the ball? How about, I organized your shoes by color and season while I was at it? Their energy is limitless. Ever seen a Border Collie at play? They don't just chase the ball. They anticipate its trajectory, perform a series of acrobatic stunts worthy of an Olympic event, and then look at you like, that's it? Really? They've got this perpetual, ready-to-go vibe, as if there's a secret adventure waiting, and they're just waiting for the go signal. And let's not forget the Border Collie stare, intense enough to win a staring contest with a statue. They'll fix those keen eyes on you, and suddenly you find yourself wondering if they know all your secrets. Or better yet, if they're plotting the most efficient way to get treats out of you. Their playtime misinterpretations are where the real comedy happens. Tell a Border Collie to take it easy, and they'll calculate the minimal acceptable level of easy which still looks like a whirlwind to the rest of us. So if you're ever in need of a laugh or someone to help with your taxes, kidding, but not really, look no further than a Border Collie. They're not just smart, they're hilariously clever. And last, but certainly not least, waltzing into our number 10 spot with all the fluff and flair of a royal procession is the Bichon Frise. This puffball of a pooch could easily be mistaken for a walking, barking cotton ball, if only cotton balls could do backflips and wiggle with joy. Why do Bichon Frises take the cake in the comedy department? First, there's their look, permanently poofed and primped as if they just stepped out of a salon, even after a romp in the mud. It's like they have an invisible stylist following them around, ensuring every strand of fur is perfectly in place for maximum adorableness. And their personality? Overflowing with enthusiasm. A Bichon doesn't just greet you, they throw a whole welcome party with just themselves. Their wagging isn't just tail deep. Their whole body wags in a blur of white fluff, making you wonder if they might just take off like a little fluffy helicopter. Their play antics are pure slapstick. A Bichon playing with a toy twice its size is like watching a comedy show where David meets Goliath. And not only does David win, but he also does it with a spectacular display of tumbling and prancing that could earn a standing ovation. And let's talk about those spontaneous bursts of energy, affectionately known as the Bichon Blitz. 1 minute, they're a dignified puff of calm. The next, they're zooming around the house at speeds that defy the laws of fluff dynamics, bouncing off furniture and turning corners like they're in a furry Formula One race. So, if your life ever feels too mundane, just remember, a Bichon Frise could turn it into a whirlwind of joyful fluff and laughter at any moment. Thanks for sticking around as we celebrated the top 10 funniest dog breeds in the world. Keep wagging, keep laughing, and don't forget to subscribe for more possum adventures.